So you want to add Jean to your party. Well, first off, congratulations on getting her out of the gacha. I completely understand why you might want to add her to your party. She is one of the first characters that you do meet in Genshin, so she does have some weight and meaning behind that. So this video is going to cover a multitude of things, and they are going to be in this order. We are going to cover her basic lore, my artifacts that I use for her, the weapons that are suitable for her, her abilities and their scaling, and then finally the team comp that I use for her. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Jean's basic lore. Before we go and jump into the video, I just want to let you guys know that these are split into chapters. So for whatever reason you want to skip to a certain part of the video just to get your information that you desire, the chapters are down there. If not, feel free to watch the video all the way through. I love you guys, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, we're talking about Jean. Her birthday is 3/14. She is part of the Knights of Favonius. She is their leader. Her vision is the Anemo, and the constellation is Leo Minor, the righteous and rigorous Dandelion Knight, an acting Grand Master of Moonstats of Knights of Favonius. The Knights of Favonius are the protectors of Mondstadt, the swords and shields of the city. In addition to keeping the city and the surrounding travel routes safe from the threat of wild monsters, the Knight's most important responsibility is maintaining order among Mondstadt's inhabitants. Mondstadt is the city of freedom, but unchecked freedom without any kind of rules only invites chaos and anxiety. Jean's understanding of this is the reason she remains diligent at all times, holding herself to impeccable standards. However, she often finds that she exhausts her monthly quota of coffee within the first few days of the month as a result. And that is Jean's basic lore. Let's go ahead and jump into the artifacts that I currently use for her. So the artifacts that I currently run for Jean are the Noblesse Oblige set. As 2-piece set, you get elemental burst damage increased by 20%, and at 4 pieces, using an elemental burst increases all party members' attack for 12 seconds. This effect does not stack. Later in the video, I will cover why these artifacts are important to the way that I have built Jean. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the weapons that you want to try to get your hands on if at all possible. So let's talk about the first weapon that you want to get your hands on if at all possible. You do have to get out of the gacha is the Skyward Blade. I'm going to go ahead and put up all the type, the basic attack, the rarity, the bonus effect, the skill, the description, how to obtain, obviously the gacha. The skill is Sky Piercing Fang, crit rate increased by 4%, gains Sky Piercing's Might. Upon using an elemental burst, increases movement speed by 10%. Increases attack speed by 10%, and increases the damage of normal and charged attack hits by 20% for 12 seconds. So if at all possible, get your hands on this one. And then the second one that I suggest is also a 5-star weapon, the Primordial Jade Cutter. Here's all the stats and the information, and the skill is Protector's Virtue. HP increased by 20%. Additionally, provides an attack bonus based on 1.2% of the wielder's max HP. And if you can't get your hands on these, I understand completely. You gotta get them out of the gacha to get them. So if you want to experiment around with your weapons, feel free to do so. Starting off with her basic attack, the Favonius Blade Work. Normal attack can perform up to 5 consecutive strikes, and then charge attack consumes a certain amount of stamina to launch an opponent using the power of wind into the air. The launched opponent will slowly fall to the ground. The plunging attack from midair to strike the ground below, damaging opponents along the path and dealing AoE damage upon impact. So basic stuff for a blade wielder. She does have some unique passives that help with her basic attack as well, and I will show some demonstrations of her basic attack as well as her charged attack. And for all those who are interested, here is the scaling for her basic attack. All the percentages are listed there. I'm going to go ahead and keep it on screen a little bit. So let's go ahead and jump into her ability next. And her ability is Gale Blade. Focusing the might of the formless wind around her blade, Jean releases a miniature storm, launching opponents in the direction she aims, dealing massive anemo damage. At the cost of continued stamina consumption, Jean can command the whirlwind to pull surrounding opponents and objects towards her front. Direction can be adjusted. Character is immobile during skill duration. I will give you guys examples of that as well. But let's go ahead and move into the scaling, and I'll leave up the scaling for anybody who is interested and wants to see it. And then once you guys have your fill, we'll go ahead and move on to the ultimate. So take your time, pause the video if you need to. I'll wait. If you guys are interested in these kinds of videos, I do these every week. based on a character that I want to do. If you guys have any preferences, and I may have them, leave them in the comments. And then without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into her ultimate. And Jean's ultimate is Dandelion Breeze. Calling upon the wind's protection, Jean creates a swirling dandelion field, launching surrounding opponents and dealing Anemo damage at the same time. She instantly regenerates a large amount of HP for all party members. The amount of HP restored scales off Jean's attack. Dandelion Field continuously regenerates HP of the characters within the AoE, continuously imbues them with Anemo. Deals Anemo damage to opponents entering or exiting the Dandelion Field. Our first passive ability is Wind Companion. On hit, Jean's normal attack have a 50% chance to regenerate HP equal to 15% of Jean's attack for all party members, so she makes for a good background healer as well. Her next passive is Let the Wind Lead. Using Dandelion Breeze, which is her ultimate, will regenerate 20% of its energy. So she gets her energy back on that ability very fast, which is good for how I have her built. And then her third passive, kind of inconsequential, is Guiding Breeze. When a perfect cooking is achieved on a dish with restorative effects, there's a 12% chance to obtain double the product. So doesn't really help with battle, but could help you if you're trying to get a lot of meals made. And now that I covered everything on a basic level for Jean, let's go over her basic attack. Again, like the description says, you can do 5 consecutive hits or hold down the attack button to do a charged attack. The basic attack can be cancelled. The basic attack can be cancelled during any of the 5 consecutive hits with a dash to restart the combo if you guys need to, if you need to maneuver and you want to restart the combo. If not, a hold attack can be used at the end of every combo except for the last hit. There's no point because on her last hit she knocks smaller enemies away from her, defeating the purpose. But like I was saying, not the thing that you guys want to care about too much. The only benefit is there's a 50% chance upon hit to regenerate 15% of the HP based on the attack. And like also said in the description, you can hold down the attack button to launch enemies in the air, acting as a sort of a minimal crowd control with smaller enemies so that they're continuously falling, setting up for attacks or just getting them all grouped up. So it can give you a little bit of breath of fresh air if you need to on smaller enemies. So basic sword wielder stuff, along with the benefit of a 50% chance to regenerate 15% of her attack as HP for all party members. So that helps a little bit, and she is also fast attacking as well. So with that being said, let's move on to her ability, which really helps with her crowd control. So like the description stated, this allows her to hold down the button to hole in smaller enemies, and then they're held up in the air, so then you can point them in a direction and fire them either off a cliff or up into the air and letting them hit the ground to deal falling damage, which is not something to scoff at. It is quite a lot of damage, as well as being able to set up combos with it, followed by maybe a charged attack in the air so that they're already up a little bit, then using your ability to launch them even higher in the air, doing a little bit more falling damage on the way down. Just a little bit of crowd control capability in your hands with Jean. You can pull up to, I don't even know what the max is for pulling them, but you can pull a lot in. So you have options when it comes to crowd control on smaller enemies. I'm not going to go into too much detail with her ultimate. Basic thing to know is it's an AoE healing circle with a initial burst of healing at the beginning. It injures enemies whenever they step inside the field and outside the field. That's pretty much all there is to it. So with her abilities covered and examples given to you guys, so then let's go ahead and jump in how to play her. So how I like to play Jean is I have her as a support most of the time. So I usually use Jean as a additional crowd control, whether it be to pull in small enemies and send them in a place that I want to, or as another way to help Kazuha with his ability to where he can suck them in. So a lot of times I will get them all grouped up with Jean initially, and then I can use the short cooldown part of Kazuha's ability. Also, if I have everybody's ultimate ready, usually the combination that I have with my initial team comp, which I'll go over, is I will throw out Jean's, then I'll throw out Benny's, and then I'll throw out Kazuha's, and then I'll use Ito when they're all grouped together to absolutely decimate with his high sustained DPS that he has. There's a multitude of ways to play Jean. That's how I like to play her. Let's go ahead and jump into how I have my team currently built, and then we'll go ahead and end the video, okay? Let's go. So currently my team is as follows. I have Arataki numero uno Ito, which is my favorite character, in the front, followed by Kazuo in second, then Bernie or Benny, then followed by Jean. That is how I have my team set up. That might change over time. However, right now, this is my main team. This is what I use. In this video, there is room for plenty of experimentation. Just want to give you guys the foundation and everything that you need as a basic before you get into her metas and stuff like that. But we reached the end of the video, NX crew. Thank you so much for joining me all the way through. If you're interested in learning about Ito or any of the other guides that I have, I'll leave Ito's video right here on my left, and I'll leave the playlist right here on my right. Again, thank you guys so much. I love each and every one of you, and I hope everybody has a good rest of their day or night. Peace.